Hey everyone, very quick market update. I know my second, or actually my third video of the week, but I thought this was an important one to make. Um, Coming after talks of all the tariffs that are being placed on different countries and the shenanigans that's happening in the markets. Obviously, fuck Trump. I'm Team Powell. Um, I don't want them to raise rates. Like it doesn't, or to cut rates. It doesn't make sense to cut rates. Everyone wants it because they're heavily underwater. But to be honest, like there's no reason to cut rates right now. Like we have just gone into a trade war with literally every single fucking country, and there's not enough information for those rate cuts to be made immediately. Um, so you know, kudos to Powell to sticking to Trump. Enough of bashing. Let's take a look. So one thing right off the bat that is pretty noticeable is equities is going down, right? Because of these tariffs. Now, what's weird is crypto is rising, right? So Bitcoin, not every crypto, but like Bitcoin's rising and holding relatively well. Which is also odd that's happening on a weekend. Now, Fridays are usually green, and then we go into, a weekend where we have no volume and dump from there. But we are rising, or Bitcoin's rising, right, while equity's going down. Now, is this a precursor to, a pump when equities start to pump from their lows after, a horrendous 2 to 3 days? Or is this going to be, a repeat of before? And I'll show you an example, but every single time there's a miscorrelation when Bitcoin is pumping, and equities are dumping, we usually have a giga nuke. Not a super, nuke, but we do eventually go down. Now, like I said, Bitcoin's pumping right now, but look at last time. So, for example, and by the way, guys, quickly, I gave you guys this perfect setup. I said that there was a weekly bearish divergence on the S&P 500. ES, right? And it played out perfectly just like last time. And I mentioned this multiple times in my videos. Um, and once we broke down, I gave you two ranges to play. We had a bounce from the first range, and here's the second one. And before you guys say you never shared us the setup, whatever, yes, I did. It was perfect. It was in this YouTube video, and here is wedge. And like I said, usually tops do look like rising wedges or rising channels, however you want to see it. Right? That's how tops usually look like. And the S&P did dip after we put in, higher highs into lower highs for RSI, creating a bearish divergence. Now, the first level that I'm looking for a bounce is this weekly order block, but honestly, I am looking for much lower on the S&P. Okay, I'm probably looking around this level. Now, it's going to take some time to play out because this is a weekly chart. Now, that perfect level that I was talking about did hit. Sorry, I had to share that chart with you guys before some people call me a grifter, which has happened recently. Um, Anyways, S&P looks disgustingly weak. Okay, like this is a weekly candle that's terrible. Now, this is the area to bounce from, but look what happened the last time. So in April, when this started to rally back in April, right? And we take a look at Bitcoin, we'll go back to the daily, and in April, what happened? In April, we actually dumped, okay? So April 15th, we rallied. Here is the 9th, and then we continue to dump up until May, right? That was a miscorrelation. Now, here is the second one where, August, we dumped with Bitcoin. Okay, so back in June to August, we dumped. Okay, July to August. And then we started rising here from August, right, to September. Well, August to September, we started to dump. Okay, so this just goes back to the question of, is this pump sustainable? If equities is to turn around, does that mean we continue to dump? Well, if we go to a Bitcoin chart, by the way, this 90K trade that I've talked about multiple times before you guys, call me a grifter in the next video and it comes and shows that it actually worked out, it's still there. We are still in a downtrend on Bitcoin. All right. There's again still no reason to be bullish. This is just a mini range that we are currently in. And if we get a move into this 4-hour order block, well, it was originally a 2-hour order block that I took it from. It's going to be an area of short for me. Okay, it lines up perfectly with the golden pocket. We have this resistance. Like I said, this is a range that we are in. Now, if equities do turn around and start pumping, then yes, we could see this pumping. But again, you guys know my high time frame level of invalidation to be a bull again. That is above that 92 to 95K level. Anything below that is noise to me, so I'm not really interested in holding swing trades. But if you think this is the bottom, there's no reason where you can't just DCA and slowly into positions and continue. If we go lower, but I'd rather just buy higher with confirmation. I know a lot of people can't comprehend that. Yes, I'm giving, a lot of percentages, but I'd rather, buy a trend change than just buy and it continues to go lower. So there's always that need for confirmation, but this is what I possibly think will happen on Bitcoin. I still think that we are going to range here between this 80 to 88K level. Currently, we are at the mid range of this range. Okay, so here's your lows, here's your mid range, clear resistance here, and then we have resistance here as well. So on a lower time frame, this looks like a potential double top forming, but again, I still think that we range here, and on a lower time frame, if we do go back to the range lows, it could be a good opportunity to long again. But I'm more interested in shorting rallies than longing at the moment. So I'd rather have more shorts than longs. I know a lot of bulls don't like to hear that, but we are in a downtrending bear market. Believe it or not, I don't. It's up to you guys, but facts are facts, charts are charts, and the global economy is in turmoil. So on Bitcoin, that's what I'm looking at. The only reason I wanted to show this chart make this video is to show the possible, miscorrelation of equities pumping and, crypto dumping and vice versa, and why we are holding the strength. Now, yes, we're going into a weekend. Maybe people that are selling their equities completely go into crypto. The old heads won't, but where retail can find strength, they're going to put their money into it. So that's what I see on Bitcoin. Like I said, short here, or if we go back to the range lows, hopefully for a sweep, that's where you're going to long. And then we do have that 90.5K short. This setup is not a hard stop loss. It's all the details are given in the Discord, but for those that are watching this video and on the Discord with me, it's a 4-hour closure above 89K. Now, a lot of people saw this and were like, oh, here's a head and shoulders. They also said the same thing about XRP. Okay, if anyone that you are following told you to short, this head and shoulders pattern, go ahead, unfollow them from every social platform that you are following them, because this is not a head and shoulders, okay? Head and shoulders requires you to break the neckline, retest it, and that's where you enter. People that, shorted here, or even on even here, right, got completely wrecked. So head and shoulders requires you to break the neckline. Here's the neckline, retest, reject. That's where you enter. All right. Just want to put that out there as well. Now, I'm not going to cover the usual coins that I do, because this is not, my market update videos that I do on the weekends. But a very strong coin to keep in mind, and alts are not really doing much. Okay, we're just at levels that we were a few days ago, if not lower almost. BTC dominance is still bullish. Okay, and this is something that I showed before. Here is the cup and handle pattern. We have broken out of this range that we are. So if Bitcoin gets hit, yes, dominance is going to continue to rise, which also means alts are going to get hit even more. So this has a technical target of 64%. We are a 1% away. We got a nice breakout, even a retest there. So I'm looking for 64% before any type of reversal. Bitcoin, like I said, is at resistance here, but Sui is holding up relatively well. Now we got in from my entry around 2.2. If you guys are following me in the Discord, we are up a good. We were about 5%, but currently 3%. But let's go back to Sui, and this one's an interesting chart because we are flirting almost with a breakout. Okay, it's going to be about our third or fourth touch. If we do get into this yellow zone, it is for shorting. But notice how whenever we consolidate, and this is like, whoa, this consolidation here, okay, took about 3 days. And then here we are again, Thursday through maybe the weekend. Maybe we consolidate and eventually break out. We are, like I said, we got a little falling wedge pattern here. So as long as we are holding this 220, okay, I expect a move up to 250, lose that, and then we go lower. All right, and the levels that I gave for lower are given in the Discord, but lose that, we go lower. Sui looks relatively good, and like I said, like we are bouncing here, so it's pulling. I mean, we got from our starter video a 50-point increase, and crypto's going down. Which again, if equities go up, does this tell us that Bitcoin and the market's going to go up? All right. See, we're going up and everything is going down. Just keep that question in the back of your head. Like I said, that this video isn't really to give any potential setups or anything. It's just a quick, brief overview of questions to get you thinking. And I expect us to rally into this weekend. I don't know how high we'll go. I don't know if we will actually get this high, but for some reason, if we do break out of this falling wedge for Sui into the 250, 260 range, that is for shorting. All right. But I do think, strong coins should be focused on. Sui is a strong coin right now. Obviously, Bitcoin. No one gives a fuck about ETH. Sol, again, had a nice bounce, but we are at resistance. This would actually be a shorting opportunity for Sol. But going into the weekend, it's very risky. And the other coin that's very strong is Fartcoin. All right, so I gave this in the Discord, but I would like for Fartcoin to make a return back into this golden pocket. I don't think it will, and this will be a trade that I most likely cancel if it breaks out. But it looks like we have a falling wedge here. We had a failed breakout attempt there, but if this does break out, I expect it to actually run. This is a Sol beta, so if Sol is rising, this will rise as well. And this, if we do get a chance to short it, this is the, I guess I deleted the chart, but let me go back into it. Let's just go back to the MEXC chart really quickly. Oh, it's right here. This is where I plan to short Fartcoin if we get a major breakout, around 59 to about 63 cents with stops above there. All right. Not necessarily mean we're going to get it, but if we do, that's where we are a great opportunity to short would be. All right. So Fartcoin's very strong. Like I said, for those that are following me in the Discord, I most likely will cancel the Fartcoin play if we don't get our dip anytime soon, because it's going to break out and we are at resistance here. So if it is to reject, it should be from here. All right. So that's it for me, guys. I will see you guys on Sunday with a proper market update. Thanks, everyone.